Ralf, first question. Give us a background of what NDR does.
NDR is part of the ARD network in Germany, which is one of the biggest public broadcasting networks worldwide, actually.
Do we have a presence in this region of the world?
We have correspondent offices in Asia, in Tokyo, Singapore, Beijing.
But audience, how do we consume your content in this region of the world?
Well, you wouldn't actually. This is, of course, German television, basically. Deutsche Welle is the foreign broadcaster, which is an affiliate, but it's not really part of ARD. So
I see. So is this your first time attending ASD?
No, I've been here regularly.
Yeah, this is the 7th edition. So what do you make of this market? I mean, how efficient is this marketplace for you?
For me, it's very important because my field of responsibility is I'm commissioning editor for discovery programs, wildlife programs, so it all takes place in foreign countries. It's films about the different and most remote regions of the world, people's lifestyles, people and places, stuff, and of course wildlife. So that's international by nature. So we do co-produce a lot, and we do produce ourselves a lot in those countries. So I'm looking both for content, for co-production opportunities, also for stories actually.
Day 4 already, any deals made on this particular event?
Yes, just yesterday I came across a very promising young lady who will produce for us in Borneo.
The Malaysian wildlife. I see. So what are the potential for documentaries from this part of the world? Because that's why ASD took place.
Well, I am also looking after the more investigative stuff. That's not my personal field, but I bring them home, of course, and give them to my colleagues. And well, since Asia is so important and so, such an important market, which is developing so quickly. Of course, we have a close look at what happens here, and every once and again. So these films are being co-produced by ARD.
Some of the comments that we heard from all the series of interviews are issues concerning the global standard, or the storytelling, or the way it's produced is not really on par with international market. Is that your concern as well?
That is always an issue, but not necessarily because Asian productions would not be pairing international standards. There's no such thing as an international standard, actually. So if you compare French and German productions, and we are neighboring countries, and we are both Central European countries, we have not different standards, but we have different attitudes towards storytelling. If you compare German and Dutch productions, you will find differences. So that is always a very challenging issue to find a way of storytelling that suits both countries.
Because I mean, that's also one of the concerns when you talk about co-production, right? I mean, so that's why I'm asking. So, what makes it a success then? Co-production, if it were to happen.
What makes it a success is the originality of the story that we wouldn't find from Germany if it is a story that takes place in Thailand, for instance. Take The Doctor. That's a good example. That's not my field, that's not in the Discovery program, it's in investigative stuff. But that's a brilliant original story that you would never find from Germany. So that's one thing. The second thing that makes co-production
a success,
necessary for us is, of course, money. So different sources throw in money, and the only way to finance it in the end.
There's charm in each story, but what makes it universal? Because this is one of the issues that we are tackling as well. As a local producers, as a content provider, and entering the global market.
There's a simple answer to that. The universal thing is always the human touch. People are always interested in other people, and when you really manage to get close to your protagonist, you get to learn a little bit about his or her concerns and challenges, daily life, hopes and fears. Then you're there. Human interest is universal.
Back to ASD as a marketplace for documentaries. We talk about the elements of the market. Are you satisfied, with the number of buyers, sellers, and the venue, the host country?
The venue is great. Couldn't be better. I love it. I didn't leave it actually for 4 days. I was hoping to see a little bit of Bangkok, but I didn't so far. I might be tomorrow, but yeah, you're here stuck in this hotel complex for 4 days. But that's the name of the game. That's clear.
And the other elements, buyers, sellers, and then products.
The elements are good. It's a little lower in terms of numbers, but for a clear reason, because they had to change the date, of course. So usually it would have been in spring, and now it's fall, and it's just MIP is over, and World Congress is before. Is in 2 weeks' time or 3, so it's a little bit lower in terms of numbers. So I'm one of the few Europeans. That's a slight disadvantage, but I'm not complaining.
And Bangkok as a host city for this event?
I haven't seen it so far.
In terms of a hub of documentaries?
As a hub of documentaries, it seems to be brilliant. You can travel in easily, so there's no visa issue for most of us. And it has a perfect infrastructure. And so I'm really very much looking forward to seeing how the Thai television and producer scene is ticking, because this is my first direct contact with them.
Well, looking forward to welcoming you back.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Ralf. Thank you.